Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. So I'm reading for Taurus energy today, and I'm sort of asking what's going on with you, what energy are you embodying or being encouraged to embody, and then we're going to look at like the energy around you and what you're dealing with, who's around to help, who's hindering your progress a little bit. We'll see what the cards want to say. I'm getting a lot because I'm doing the earth sign readings today, and I'm getting a lot of information about kind of physical affection, like skin to skin contact, like a lot of stuff about parenting, a lot of stuff about physical needs in relationships. So, especially if you have like an Earth Venus placement, it's that need for like. It's basically I'm trying not to channel too much stuff in the readings, but it's coming through really strongly. The concept of like when you get that physical affection. So this can be hugs, it can be bonding with your baby, it can be time with your partner, like back rubs, it could even be like going for a massage, right? But it's the idea of like um, being physically close to other people, and having like the chemicals in your brain, like dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, especially oxytocin strongly, like the effect that like social interactions as well, and physical stimulation can have on the brain, and the release of those kind of like feel good happy chemicals. So I don't know if that's something you want to explore, but also the idea of like especially Taurus, because you are ruled by Venus, so you are the most the sign that's kind of most involved in kind of like feel good things, like physical feel good, and like physical luxury and physical well-being, like and the association of love, because Venus is the goddess of love and romance and all things, definitely the physical side when it comes to Taurus. So definitely the science behind that and the science behind those needs is something that you can definitely explore. So for example, like I get them all mixed up. Is it serotonin or dopamine that's like the reward hormone? So this could come through Taurus in, like how do you reward yourself? If as a child, your parents always rewarded you with sweets or cake when you did well in school, you're going to associate sweet rewards with success, and like yeah, it's like that's how your reward system is going to be wired in your brain. So when you're an adult, if you're feeling like you're not successful, or you're feeling like, I don't know, you had a good day, you're like, I'm going to reward myself with some cake, but that can actually turn into quite an unhealthy pattern of behavior. So maybe explore those ideas a little bit, and explore what is your reward system? How was this reward system wired for you? Do you seek praise from others? Do you reward yourself with substances or food? Or like, what is that for you? And then on the flip side of that, when you don't have those things, do you feel like you're not being rewarded? So it could just be some reprogramming around uh, physical needs, and the reward based release of feel good chemicals for you that needs exploring. Okay, let's keep going. So I've got this beautiful deck that's like a new deck for me, Goddesses Among Us, Awaken the Goddess Within. I've got this because I have The Angels Among Us, and I really, really love the art style by Ellie Grant, who's the illustrator. I think it's a really gorgeous art style. I love how diverse the bodies, the faces, the characters in this are. I would say though that because this is my new deck is Goddesses Among Us, it's very feminine based. So if you are a male watching this, or you're non-binary, gender fluid, don't worry too much about whether it's a guy or a girl on the cards. Just more look at what is that figure representing? What are the values of that card? And kind of maybe lean to discovering that side of yourself more. Also, because it's goddesses and angels, if you are coming to my reading with a particular belief system or a particular resistance to those ideas, just try and put that to one side temporarily while you look at the reading. And again, if a particular figure is particularly important to you or symbolic for you, absolutely go ahead and take that if that feels right to you. But if you are not particularly interested in that religion or deity, take it more about the values that that figure is embodying. So some kind of like stuff as we go into the reading there. I just kind of want to mention those things because sometimes people can come to the reading with particular ideas or values that, you know, I don't know. It's better to address it at the beginning and get it out of the way. So what do we have? What do we have? As I'm looking down, and again, I'm trying not to bring it in too much intuitive messages. I'm seeing the Light Seers Tarot, and you can see, I don't know if you can see this, sometimes she looks like she's got her eyes open, and sometimes she looks like she's got her eyes shut. But it looked to me like she was winking at me, like this eye was open and this eye was closed. So I don't know if that's a thing. Maybe somebody's winking at you. Maybe there's like a little signal, a little nod between you and somebody else. It's like, hey, I'm hearing we got the go-ahead. We got the go ahead. So this could be like a work thing, maybe like a work project, and you're looking for funding, you're looking for permission to pursue a certain idea. It's like you got the go ahead to kind of explore this idea a little bit more, but it's like giving the signal to somebody else, like they're winking at you or you're winking at them. It's like we got the go ahead. Okay, Taurus, what do we have for Taurus today, please? So this is for the month of February. So if this isn't applying yet, just keep it in mind. It could be something that comes up for you. They're making a joke on, sorry, my guides can be really lewd sometimes. I'm getting, and again, going back to physical needs, the idea of like getting it up, basically, they're making a pun about getting it up. So just be careful if you've got, there's intuitive messages coming through really strongly today. I was like, I've got to do a reading, otherwise I'm just going to get like this backup of messages. Like maybe there's something about like a backlog of work or something that needs to be processed. That could be something to do with like the physical body as well, like some sort of backlog. I don't know, like a buildup of chemicals that need release. I'm going to say chemicals. Gosh, sorry, they're giving me too much all at once. Okay, I've lost the first thing that I was going to say now. Oh, yeah, sorry, just, it's funny, like, being reminded. So for some of you, be very, very aware about how stress and anxiety impact your ability to release those feel-good chemicals, right? So the things that release the feel-good chemicals, again, like physical touch, spending time with loved ones, you know, letting those good hormones have their time. If you're particularly stressed, say, I'm getting a lot of stuff about work for you, Taurus. So if you're particularly stressed at work, particularly anxious over a project or something like this, or there's disruptors in your environment. So this could be people around you who are very disruptive, they cause you a lot of stress. You know, perhaps they have a bad attitude, perhaps they always rub people up the wrong way. Talking about back rubs, right? Rubbing people the wrong way. It's like, get off, that hurts. Yeah, it feels like somebody, like something about your situation that could be quite stressful. I've been doing a little bit of research before I came into the reading about how our brain functions and how those chemicals are released in our body, the good ones, and definitely stressful or like anxiety-ridden situations can inhibit the release of some of those hormones. Like some of them kind of actually come out when you are stressed, which is interesting. But it's just interesting to know, to take note of how your situation could be impacting your natural release of certain positive hormones. And again, like the benefit of those on our body. So you can see, like anyone can see, I'm sorry, I'm getting so much intuitively, guys. I've not even pulled a card yet. I'm sorry. When we're stressed, it has an impact on our body, right? So we get stressed, something happens in our environment, we're dealing with a stressful situational person. The release of those three feel-good hormones like dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin are inhibited or affected in a way where they're not in balance. This affects things like some of those, like I think dopamine affects like sleep. So, you know, this has an impact on our sleep. It has an impact on, you know, creating social bonds. It has an impact on mood. It has an impact on irritability. So we suddenly find ourselves not looking after ourselves. Like, again, like the reward system can get broken. So maybe we start to reward ourselves in negative ways with negative food or drink. So it's like our ability to self-regulate gets damaged by the stressful situation, and then we start to have the physical impact of the negative physical impact of not getting the right balance of hormones, which then like leads to trying to resolve this in, yeah, like artificial ways, or you know, in like putting a plaster on the wound is what they're telling me. So and then again, if you look at how these hormones are produced, you need things like good sleep, good diet, you know. So it's like this perpetuating cycle almost that they're showing me. So they're really just wanting you to kind of take a step back, self-evaluate the situation and the impact it's having on your body. Like, you'll be able to see, I'm really tired at the moment. So it's like, I don't know. Right, let's just go to the cards. What do we have for Taurus, please? What is the energy for Taurus, please? What are they embodying? What are they encouraged to embody throughout the month of February? What's going on for Taurus? I keep getting this card. It must be something to do with Venus energy. I'm Libra, so I'm also ruled by Venus. This card for me has come out every time I do a reading for myself. Every single time for like the past 6 readings, I've got this card. It's like it's spooky the amount of times this card has come out for me personally. Like, again, it's like every single time for the past 6 readings. Again, I keep doing like practice readings and like just quick readings for myself off camera. So this card, with you being Taurus and also ruled by Venus, it could be something to do with the planet Venus or Venus energy, like the goddess Venus. I know it doesn't say Venus, there is like an Aphrodite card in this pack, but why I'm saying this is because Aphrodite was born of the ocean and she was beautiful, and there's similar mythology around this card, which I'll kind of read to you in a moment. So yeah, the idea of like Aphrodite being born from the ocean, being very beautiful, and then the theme of love as well, giving me that strong Aphrodite. What is it? Venus of Kidnos, is it? Venus of... I don't know, I'd have to look it up. 11. So it's even like, I find it opens straight to the page and then I flip past it because I've opened this page so many times. Right. Mer magic, deep diving and transformation. Atargatis was the first mermaid. She was one of the main goddesses of Assyria, present-day Syria and parts of Iraq, around 100 BCE, before her worship spread into Greece, Rome, and other parts of the Mediterranean. She is a goddess of fertility, and that's interesting because I've been picking up on babies a lot, which is meaningful to me because I play The Sims and we're getting this like baby expansion pack. So I'm not surprised that babies are coming up for me personally. But yeah, again, it could be fertility. Yeah. And again, if you're trying to get pregnant, there could be something about make sure you are reducing situational things in your environment to so that your body chemicals can kind of like do their thing in a happy, safe, comforting, kind of like ideal environment. You know, you don't want to be, I don't know. Again, I'm not a doctor, you know, you definitely need to talk to a fertility specialist, but I think it's probably like basic advice, I would assume. Again, go and fact check this, but you know, the idea of like make sure you're getting enough sleep, make sure you're doing things that make you happy, make sure you're reducing stress in your environment, that kind of thing. Anyway, she is a goddess of fertility and a protector, and she looks after all of those who call upon her. She fell in love with a mortal man called Hadad, but she was too powerful and accidentally killed him, and her heartbreak was too much to bear, so she threw herself into the ocean. The gods thought she was too beautiful to die, and they saved her, but her deep dive into the ocean had transformed her into a mermaid. So there's something there with like, she's too beautiful to die, right? It's like, you can be like, I don't know, there's something shallow about that, but also I think it's important to recognize, again, going back to the way our brain works. And again, Taurus, you're ruled by the goddess Venus, who is the goddess of love and beauty. And there's a purpose to beauty. There's a purpose to things that are beautiful for the sake of being beautiful. A beautiful vase, or you know, a flower, or I've been seeing a lot of roses. Roses could be significant to somebody. It's like, because when you look at something beautiful, your brain chemicals react. You do have a reaction to things that are beautiful. And you know, the happiness, and it could just be, you know, clean your room, tidy your house, you know, redecorate, make that environment beautiful, because it helps you it helps your happiness levels to be in a beautiful environment. There is a purpose to beauty. And again, in that situation, she's too beautiful to die. It's like the gods couldn't bear to see the destruction of something beautiful because it brings happiness to the world. So, you know, we shouldn't see beauty as something that's shallow or that has no real purpose. I think there is purpose to beauty and art and you know, and making things look good, because we do have a reaction to that. Okay. The gods thought she was too beautiful to die and they saved her, but her deep dive into the ocean had transformed her into a mermaid. Call on Atargatis in times of heartbreak or challenge, and let her journey to the depths with you, guiding your way back up to the light. Remember that heartbreak can be a catalyst for the most powerful transformation. One of the songs that I've just listened to as I was kind of like getting ready to do the reading was Heartbreak Story by The Wanted. It doesn't have to be another heartbreak story. I've actually screenshotted it. So I feel like this could be for you, Taurus. I was reading it from the perspective of the person who had observed or witnessed somebody who'd gone through some heartbreak, and they were saying it doesn't always have to be this way. Just because other people in the past have treated you badly, you know, there are good people around who want to treat you well. So I don't know if somebody needs to hear that. But let me just read you some of the lyrics from this song, The Heartbreak Story by The Wanted. She cannot cope and it hurts inside her mind, right? Again, inside your mind, the chemicals that are going on in there, or again, it could be you to somebody else. Couldn't let it go, couldn't bear to ever be alone. She wondered how this had happened. He gave you up and then he let you down, and all the trust is broken now. You can't remember how it used to be, and it doesn't have to be a heartbreak story. So some of the other lyrics. I promise you, as long as you're with me, there'll never be a heartbreak story. Girl, there's no need to hide away. What's done is done now. Tangled up, you and I lay, here together as one now. I'll surround you and keep you safe every day. I know you never like to be alone, and now you don't have to. So this idea of like we're tangled up and lay together like as one, it's really like reinforcing, because I was already getting the stuff about like physical affection and safety. It's like physical affection and like being with somebody who makes you feel safe and like wraps you up and loves you. It's almost like somebody who treats you like a burrito baby, right? And like holds you in their arms and you feel safe and not scared, and then your body can release those hormones. I'm also getting Wolf Alice, are you happy now? But I feel like that's for Capricorn. So yeah, like it says it's time to transform, let go of the old, of who you used to be, and step into the light of the new you, who you used to be. It's like it doesn't have to be a heartbreak story. If that's who you used to be, somebody who experienced a lot of difficult relationships, a lot of heartbreak, that doesn't have to be your forever story. You can change your story. Call on Atargatis for assistance with heartbreak or grief, deep and powerful emotions, shadow work, connecting with the mermaids, self-love and self-belief. Embody the energy of Argatis by connecting to water energy, visiting the ocean or large bodies of water, deep diving into your own psyche, feeling your feelings, seeing your own beauty, and transforming into your next phase. Yeah, so like looking for your own beauty, like not looking for outside approval, right? Doing what makes you feel beautiful. The lovely thing about this card is I love that she's got armpit hair, right? It's like, and she's stunning, she's beautiful, she's sexy, she's natural, and look, she's got this little heartbreak symbol on her arm as well. Like, she's so gorgeous. And it's like, you know, there's people who say, oh, you need to shave your armpits to be beautiful. Maybe she doesn't feel that need. And again, it's about what makes you feel empowered and sexual and beautiful, and not what other people think. And it doesn't have to be armpit hair, right? It could be anything. Anecdote time. So I use an epilator on my legs, but it ran out as I was kind of like epilating my legs in the bath. And then I got out and I thought I'd done an okay job, because I kind of like, I do it roughly and go over it, and it kind of minimizes the way the hair grows back. But there must be one hair that I've missed kind of repeatedly for about a month, and it was like this long on my knee. It was like a big black long hair. So I've got it now. It's just funny that I missed it. I was like, oh no. Okay, Atargatis. Oh, Queen of Wands, yeah. The Queen of Wands is stunning because she knows she's stunning. She's amazing because she knows she's amazing. She's full of fire and energy and passion and excitement and like the vibrancy and love of life and like doing what she wants to do, doing what makes her feel good, doing what's fun. And it's an engaging, beautiful, attractive energy. So it doesn't matter kind of like what you look like, whether you fit the archetype, the stereotype of what is currently in fashion in terms of beauty. It's somebody who has that charisma and vibrancy and passion that is so attractive. It's like the Queen of Wands is like, I'm getting like full body goosebumps right now. The Queen of Wands is like somebody who is lit up from the inside. Like she has that kind of that spark within her that is like the spark of life, right? And that spark of life attracts people. So this is about living authentically and following your own passions and being bold enough to do that and not caring what other people have to say about that. There's some anxiety around communication or action. It's like all your energy, all your passion, all your energy, all your focus seems to be going in one direction right now. But again, it is causing you some anxiety and stress. So it's interesting the Nine of Swords should come out because exactly that's what I was picking up on intuitively before I even pulled cards. You know, how stress and anxiety and maybe like sleeplessness, maybe you're having nightmares, you know, and how this can impact your physical health and well-being and your energy levels in terms of like being able to focus and being able to drive yourself in a certain direction. So it could just be you need to do some self-care, right? You need to take a bath, you need to give yourself a bit of a spa day, nurture yourself, kind of look after yourself and kind of get those positive chemicals going again, because this is gonna block the good chemicals. This is going to block your ability to be like the Queen of Wands and like drive and passion forward. Look at that as well. You've got beautiful cards underneath this, like Empress and Ten of Cups as well. Yeah, the Death card. I feel like you are undergoing, again, this is transformation. It's almost like a makeover energy, like a new you, but it's not just a makeover. It's like a makeover of your... It's like a life makeover. It's a makeover of like a situation that I'm hearing has gone on too long. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Nine of Wands at some point. It's like a situation that's gone on too long. It's become stagnant. It's become, anxiety ridden. It's no longer the optimal situation for you to really kind of be vibrant and be passionate and be effective. So I think it's this whole... It's like a whole package for you. It's like as you revitalize, I don't know, your work, your situation, your home, you're revitalizing the self. What's the situation? What's going on around Taurus? So this could be, this stressful situation we're talking about here. It could be the person that's causing you stress. But with this being quite a positive deck, I want to say it could be talking about people around you who can help you. I'm trying to keep this reading quite positive. I have got another new deck that's quite, there's a little bit more negative. It's a little bit more to do with shadow work, but I kind of want to keep that for the next set of readings. So we're really going for positivity here. You know, like manifestation. If we're in a positive mood, we manifest positively. What have we got going on, please, for Taurus? Well, this card has been really doing the rounds. I feel like you've got a group of fierce friends who can really help you at this time. You've got Saint Joan of Arc. Something about the silver. You've got this kind of like starman energy coming through, like higher self. It could be higher self, kind of like the super ego. This Xenu card, Star Family, Soulmate, Starseed. It's come out 3 times now. And then Kali, Shadow, Illusion, and Ego. So it's funny, I've just been talking about the shadow. So this is how your own shadow can help you. I want to say how you can embrace your shadow, how you can work with your shadow rather than against it in a way that is positive. You know, we all have a shadow. We all have negative qualities. It almost feels like what they're saying is your own higher self, your own super ego, if you want to Google super ego and kind of the psychology around that, and then your own shadow or your own id is the way it's coming through. It's like your highest self and your worst self, your best self and your most destructive self. How can you balance this? How can you get into that middle ground energy, like ego energy, I guess? Again, look up the terms if you're not sure about what I mean by that. And utilize it, right? How can you, because it's like neither is good or bad, right? Both have good and bad qualities. Your super ego can be a little bit too holier than thou, a little bit too ice queen, a little bit too, it's almost like when you go too logical and you forget. It's almost like it's quite Aquarian, so it's almost like dismissive of emotions or baser needs, where it kind of isolates itself or ostracizes itself, or it becomes something that is not relatable. So you can get too high into, and self-absorbed almost as well. You can get too high into that kind of like Starman, Aquarian, what is it, Xenu energy of that super ego, which again, it isolates and distances you, which means that you're not effective. So if you look at very, very popular leaders, people who really are good at creating that emotional impact, you know, like you could have somebody who is the most logical leader, you know. So if you think about like politicians, they are good, they're trying to do good, they are very logical, their reasoning is sound, but they just don't have the engagement, they don't get the support because people can't. It's like they feel they're too Elsa in the castle almost, where you can get people who are absolutely like like rock stars, rebels, people who really, really sit in that id energy, of the baser self. And they are so engaging and they're so relatable because we all have that id, right? Even like the people who like sit up there on that like ivory star, we all have that id, we all have that shadow. And so when something talks to our shadow, it's instantly relatable. So it's interesting that this talks about star family and soulmates and starseed, because here I actually intuitively I'm feeling the connectivity here. Kali, shadow, illusion, and ego. And Kali's such a powerful card. So Kali is really like, she takes that id, right? She takes those base needs, those base desires, those selfish parts of ourselves, and she makes them vibrant and engaging and recognizable, and she's creative with them, and she turns them into art. She turns them into something that inspires and drives. And anger, if you look at anger's seen as a negative quality. We all have anger as part of our shadow. We can take anger and we can flip it and turn it into drive that changes the world and empowers the world. I'm getting Greta Thunberg a lot. So if you look at the character of Greta Thunberg, yes, she's idealistic. Yes, she's got the balance really right, because she's logical, she's idealistic, she's doing things for the highest good, but she brings in that anger. So there could be something about feminine anger. There's a lot of stuff I'm seeing in the media, like The Take, the YouTube channel The Take has stuff about, I can't remember the term, but it's about basically looking at how female anger is explored in movies and things like that. And I think there was an actress who said this character wouldn't act like this. She's acting almost like too noble, too they're giving me other examples, she's too restrained. If you're upset, you show that you're upset. She'd shout, she'd be angry, she'd throw things. Because that is part of us. Not that you should necessarily be destructive. Again, there's ways to channel anger into in positive ways. Like I say, like the Queen of Wands absolutely takes that Kali energy, absolutely takes that energy of anger, and she empowers herself with it. So again, like Greta Thunberg, she appeals to the emotions. She has that kind of like it's like divine rage about her, and she uses it and she utilizes it and she makes an impact and she gets things moving. So it's that kind of energy that I'm seeing here. So again, this could be somebody around you or the parts of yourself that you can tap into. But she's gorgeous. She's reminding me a little bit of like, I don't know if it's like Rita Ora or somebody. She's kind of like making me think of somebody. So I was going to say as well, like there's a scene in Handmaid's Tale, and I love the actress who plays Serena Joy. And there's a scene very early on in the Handmaid's Tale where she kind of throws June to the ground. She throws the handmaid to the ground, and she gets down on all fours and she screams into her ear. That was completely the actress's creation. She did that kind of she's watching a crow. She did that kind of like off the cuff. She was like, you know, in this moment, I feel like my character that I'm playing would lose control. She'd lose her, you know, her veneer of control and authority and yeah, that kind of like self-control, and she's going to show that more animalistic nature to have that impact. And it's not a good scene by any means, but it's a scene with a huge amount of impact. So you know, not being afraid to show that part of yourself, not being afraid to show your wilder side, your more yeah, I don't know, it's just really cool. And then you've got the Black Madonna as well, Cosmic Mother, the beginning, the void. So I feel like, because you've been doing this deep dark energy, you've been doing this like rethinking, reevaluating, kind of transformation, that deep dive of a Targatis. I think you're fully exploring your own needs, your own sexuality, your own personality, what makes you angry, what makes you tick, what motivates you. Like, you're doing this real dive into this, and like the situation itself as well. And you're coming up with answers. And you're coming up in a way where it's like no longer ruled by, I don't know, it could be like no longer ruled by what society expects of you. You know, what you have been taught is the ideal, because this is an idealistic energy. And then, you know, what society disapproves of. And you're coming back up, fully healing both these aspects of yourself, your own internal view of these aspects of yourself, and you're coming up strong. And it's I feel like the universe is absolutely supporting you. Very, very, very interesting card. I am well into it. So let's have a read then. Why are these here? Again, these could be 3 like fierce friends around you who absolutely embody these energies, who you can align with, and you can kind of like, it almost feels like supporting each other in a way that's like recognizing, like seeing and recognizing the worst parts of yourself in each other, and being like, we're not going to be ruled by our worst parts. We're going to rule our worst parts, and we're going to empower ourselves with them. And we're going to flip this coin on its head and use this as something to fix the things that are wrong, right? It's like, what is it? God grant me the power to change what I can change. It's that kind of energy. It's like, I can see that I can make a change here. And instead of feeling disempowered by this thing that makes me angry, I'm going to empower myself to do something about it, because I can, and I will. But I'm going to do it with these people. It's kind of got that vibe to it. It's very cool, Taurus, badass. But it's coming from this place of love. It's coming from this place of like intelligently recognizing what bodies need, right? Again, like the way the brain functions, and how negative things can have an impact on that, I think. I mean, this is a really, really controversial topic, but I could absolutely see how, as an example of like a real world example of how I can see this theme coming up. There's a lot of talk around, especially in kind of like, is like middle America at the moment, kind of Texas kind of way. There's a lot of talk about the female body, female reproductive rights, what is best for the child, what is best for the mother, and kind of working things out around that. There's a lot of, there's some members of society who think that women should, if a woman gets pregnant, they should have the baby, but, you know, whether, you know, and changing the laws around that. I'm trying to just pick my words carefully, because I think it's important to have nuanced, balanced discussions where everybody's thoughts and opinions and voices are heard, even if I personally feel resistant to certain ideas. I think it's important to understand the why, right? Why do people have these beliefs? Let's not dismiss them or shut them down or deplatform them, but let's analyze those belief systems. Let's look at where they're coming from. Let's look at other evidence to either support or change those beliefs. You know, like, let's have an intelligent, nuanced discussion around this rather than just immediately like getting angry and emotional and shutting each other down. Let's explore the why. So these people who I think are very, very who want what's best for the baby, and what they think is best for the baby is to have the mother carry it to full term, and, you know, have that mother raise that child. And I think that some women, because of the situation that they're in, if they're in a particularly stressful situation, if they're in a situation where they're in danger, if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if those two bottom rungs are not being provided for, you know, they don't know where to get money from, they don't know where their next paycheck's coming from, they don't know where their next meal's coming from, they don't feel safe in their accommodation. That is going to scientifically stop that lady from being able to, again, let's not get too hung up on like gender here and sex, because there's a lot of fluidity there, but just broadly speaking, that parent is not going to be able to if they're so stressed and anxious, that's going to stop them being able to release things like oxytocin, which is essential for being able to bond with that child and to be able to create the chemicals that allow that mother to feed that child. And that mother-child relationship is not, that bond cannot be formed through no fault of the mother, because the mother is in that situation, you know, stressed, anxious. Her body simply will not create the right chemicals all the time. You know, there's different situations, it's nuanced, right? It's not going to be everybody's situation, and that is not the mother's fault. If she is situationally in a situation that is impacting her ability to release the right hormones so that she can effectively mother that child and bond with it and be attentive, it's the situation's fault. And who creates the situation but society itself? What do we do about that? We change society. So we can unpeel that onion a little bit more. We can dive deeper and look at the science, and we can look at the situation, and we can look at the feelings. And there's a lot there that needs to be spoken about and balanced and reasoned, right? And I don't think forcing someone to have a baby is going to somehow fix the situation. So I don't know. There's ideas there that need to be explored further, right? It's not a simple conversation that can happen. It's not something that is like, this is right, that's wrong, done. It's like, well, why is that right? Why is that wrong? Like, let's explain. The explain is important. So I don't know why all that's coming through. Again, I'm getting a lot of intuitive messages. There's a lot going on. I don't tend to watch the news anymore. Because I am quite empathic. It can make me really spiral. I have to be very careful about how much I engage with certain things. But I pay attention enough to get a general idea of what's going on and like what's impacting the collective. And again, sometimes I have to completely isolate, because the collective can be in such a you know, the collective can get into this state because of the state of the world that it drags me into it as well. I don't think that allows me to be effective in the world. So where am I going with that? There is a lot in the media at the moment. There is a lot of stuff on the news at the moment that's creating these feelings, which, again, what does that do to us as a society if we're constantly worried and stressed about what's going on in the world? And especially when we feel like we can't help. It's like, where can we help? That thing that I'm seeing that's getting me stressed and anxious and depressed and worried and is making me feel all these feelings. I don't want to feel helpless about that. Where can I make a difference? Where can I do something about that thing? So there's something in that as well. Okay, I need to keep going because these readings are meant to be short. Okay, I'm just going to read the oracles for these. So open your heart to love, call in your star family, connect with the stars, and remember you are made of stardust. 25. So these are completely new cards to me. I've never read these two before. So Callie, I do know a little bit about Callie though, about her mythology. She's very cool. See through illusion to divine truth. What you see is not always what you get. Liberate yourself from your ego to find true peace. So I'm going to just quickly read that. Embody the energy of Kali by loving and accepting your ego, seeing through the illusions of the ego, letting go of the past. Letting go of the past seems to be a big theme. Living in the present moment, standing up for others. That's what I'm getting, that kind of Greta Thunberg energy, that kind of like, I'm going to do something about this energy. Standing up for others, calling out those who harm others, and working with meditation and yoga practices. The Black Madonna. So her oracle is, this is the moment of stillness before the new. Prepare yourself for the journey. Take a breath and jump into the unknown. You definitely, there's a big change coming for you, Taurus. And it feels like a change of empowerment, a change that's going to empower you. And it could be that there's something that sparks this. This could be like an oh hell no moment where you're like, it kind of like, almost like, they're showing me, you know, the cables in a car, like jump start. It's like, it almost like jump starts you like an electric shock. And it like, I don't know if you're going to like jump out, see something on your news, jump out, up out your seat and be like, no, I'm not having this. I'm doing something about this. I've got an idea. I'm going to call my friends. We're going to start this group. It's going to, like, you're motivated here, but you're motivated in an empowered way, you're motivated in a way where you like, you're not going to waste your energy on things that don't matter. You know, like a lot of people feel the need to like make a tweet. And I always say it's not really making a difference though, is it? It might make you feel better that you've said what you need to say, but it's not, a lot of the time it doesn't, it just gets lost in the void, right? Whereas I think what's more effective is when somebody says, I'm really upset by this situation. I'm seeing this on the news. If you're also upset by this situation, here's some things you can do to help. It's like when the war with Ukraine started, it was only a small thing, it was a little thing, but I thought it's something that people can do on a practical level to potentially help. And so I tweeted out, it was Duolingo had learn Ukrainian, and I was like, look, maybe if you feel like you're not empowered, if you want to do something productive and you want to do something that's actually, it's actually like learning a skill, right? It's actually something that's practical. Maybe learn Ukrainian, you know, or you could be like, you know, send money to this charity, or, you know, sign this petition, but link to something, right? Don't just say, I'm stressed about this. This is terrible. Say, you know, this situation is not okay. Here's where we can make a practical difference. Just something to think about. Embody the energy of Black Madonna by being comfortable in the void. Remember, so the void is the space where you do this deep dive, you do this soul searching, you do this reevaluation. You are safe there. Like the universe holds you in the void. Being comfortable in the void, remembering you are made of stardust, embracing the blank page, looking into the future, not the past, speaking your dreams and wishes to the universe, internally manifesting and embracing the mystery. So you feel like you're going to have a full moment. The Fool card in the tarot is like, I'm going to take a leap of faith here. I don't know where I'm heading, but I know that I have to move, right? It's like, I know that this is the direction I'm moving in. I don't see the finish line. I don't see the outcome, but this feels right. Tell me about why Zimnu is here. I'm sorry if I mispronounce. So you need to take a moment here. So star family, star seed, soulmates. You need to take a moment here to protect your energy. Again, you could be very empathic and you could be taking on a lot of the time wands can symbolize like anger, aggression, kind of uproar. So it's almost like these wands are trying to poke through into your bubble of well-being and self-care. So you need to take a defensive stance here. You don't have to take everything on as your own. I want to say pick a cause. Pick one thing where you can make an effective difference, because there's one thing poking through a bubble, right? You don't have to save the world. You don't have to take on all these burdens as your own, right? You're going to be most effective if you pick one thing and focus on that, right? So pick one thing that really matters to you. Pick something where you know that you can make a difference, and do some more research. The Page of Swords is doing research. Fact check. Find out the support. Go and like find scholarly articles that support what you're saying. This is what I did today. I went and looked at scholarly articles regarding dopamine production, serotonin, oxytocin, and the effect on the brain, the hippocampus, and kind of brain chemistry. I went and I did my research before I did this reading. So I'm not just talking from an opinion place. I'm not just talking from, I feel that. You know, you can yourself go up and look at WebMD, for example, or any of the medical journal sites and kind of find the supporting evidence for this. I'm talking from facts here, not feelings and opinion. And this is telling you whatever you care about, whatever you're impassioned about, whatever that higher purpose is for you, go and do your research, go and get your facts. So that if somebody comes to you with an unfounded opinion based on their own emotions or their own imaginary perception of the world, you can say, okay, I understand why you feel that way. Yes, this is a very emotive subject. Let me give you some information here about some research that's been done into that. You see, so you're giving them something that's factual that can't be argued with. I mean, you can argue because not all medical journals are created equally, right? Not all, and this is a thing to look into as well. Not all research is weighed equally, because you know you could look at like size of population. You know, if some research is being done and it's on a group of 10 people, it's not going to be as like strong. I'm hearing threadbare. It could be threadbare. It's not going to be as strong as research that's done on a thousands of people from all different backgrounds, like from different places, from different ages. You know, like the more diverse and bigger the pool that you're sampling from, the more stronger that research is going to be. So again, look for the loopholes. Look, it's almost like Jenga, right? Or Kaplunk. It's like, look for the weak points in an argument and pull on them, and like look at what fills the gap. Okay, what's Callie doing here, please, for Taurus? What's Callie doing for Taurus? Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, get practical. Do something about this. Nurture those that need nurturing. Get hands-on. Look at the actual physical needs. You're going to be brilliant at this. It's Capricorn's card, but absolutely could easily be Taurus. Earth sign energy, Earth Queen energy. This is like, let's get physical. Let's get into the 3D. Let's get hands-on. Let's do something about this on a practical level. We're not talking ideas here. We're not talking, I mean, you're all ones in Earth. A lot of ones on Earth say, remember to get the information. But this is very practical. This is like, we can make things happen here. Fire and Earth is we feel something, we're impassioned. Let's get some feet on the ground. So yeah, you're nurturing people. And you could be nurturing people who have been sat in the shadow. I'm kind of getting foster care or adoption coming through intuitively. So it could be that you're taking in I don't know, refugees, or you're taking in people who have been from, you know, who have been displaced from the families. You could be looking at groups of people who are disenfranchised and saying, how do we empower these people? How do we, you know, how do we deal with how do we help these people work with their own shadow in a way that's going to heal that and empower them, rather than perpetuate the cycles and can continue to do damage. And then let's look at the Black Madonna. I love the diversity of these cards as well, by the way. Like, this is why I love this deck. And again, just to shout out the illustrator, Ellie Grant, I think just absolutely beautiful, like in terms of like body size, ethnicity, you know, ability. You know, you've got people who are in wheelchairs and things in these decks. So I just think they're really, really gorgeous. I'm noticing as well, there's there's something about the bare chest. I don't know if somebody's considering getting a tattoo on the chest. Because I was going to say they don't have tattoos, but they do have tattoos. But there's something about the chest. I don't know, if you're getting dressed and you're wearing a dress with like a low neckline, and you feel like, I don't know, it's like wear a necklace. I'm just noticing they're all wearing like necklaces. So she's got like a little shell necklace. I don't know, my attention's being drawn to it, so it's going to be for somebody. She's got a little heart necklace. So it's like almost like decorating the neckline in some sort of way. Could be something about necklaces. Maybe somebody makes their own jewelry. Something about that. Okay. Yeah, maybe this is what you do, right? I can imagine the Queen of Pentacles. Again, Queen of Pentacles being something to do with physical and skill. Like to make jewelry, that is a very physical skill. And then they're showing me like the gold. So yeah, somebody could be a jewelry maker. Here you go. So you perceive this part of yourself. You perceive this. Oh, she's so gorgeous. Cosmic Mother, the beginning, the void, the Black Madonna. I'm going to read this card because it's something to do with your own empowerment, right? Your own Queen of Wands energy. And again, it's this fiery. It's like what is the phrase that's trying to come through? It's like divine rage, right? Divine rage. It's like, yes, I'm angry. Damn right I'm angry. I should be angry about this. Is the way it's coming through. And again, it's like about knowing what to do to be effective with that anger, because I don't know, the Queen of Wands is going to make people uncomfortable. Not everybody is going to like the Queen of Wands. She doesn't care. She's got her ideas. She's got her beliefs. She knows what she's doing, and she's doing it. You know, not everybody's going to like that. So there's something about your own thoughts. So this part of yourself, this Queen of Wands part of yourself, who's this, oh, she's this empowered part of yourself. And again, don't worry about if you're male, female, non-binary, gender fluid, like however you represent. It's about that vocal, passionate, driven part of yourself within. But you perceive it to be locked away. You perceive it to be trapped. You perceive it to be something that's restrained. But it's not restrained. It's unrestrained. You just have to perceive that part of yourself in the correct way. I don't know why I'm flipping these. There must be something to that. I want to read this Black Madonna a little bit more, because I think it's a very, very interesting energy that I'd like to know more about. So I want to kind of like read the mythology of it, and then we'll kind of get you a song and close out the reading. The Black Madonna, Cosmic Mother, the Void, the Beginning. Images and statues of the Black Madonna have been hidden away in corners of churches since the early days of Christianity. Many have been removed over time, some even painted over, and others explained away as just charred and burned statues of Mother Mary, although the paint around her is always miraculously untouched. However, there are images of the Black Madonna that remain, quietly reminding us that there was and is more to the Christian faith than often meets the eye. It is said that the Black Madonna is a nod to the old ways, the old goddesses who came before Mother Mary, and to the goddesses of ancient Egypt. Some say that the Black Madonna is simply an aspect of the goddess Isis, while others say she is the first goddess, the first woman. She is often referred to as the Cosmic Mother, and is the void from which all life was born. The Black Madonna is a powerful goddess who, while associated with Christianity, is much older. She is ancient, she is before time, and she's the moment before the inhale, and she can guide you through new beginnings and any time you want to start again. I mean, obviously she's talking about Western Christianity here, or like white Christianity, because I know that, you know, you can go to countries like Nigeria. I've been talking about Nigeria a little bit recently, and you know, yes, there's different sections of that society, but there's a strong Black Christian presence in that country. So I wouldn't say that Christianity is currently only of certain racial demographics. But I would say that historically speaking, in places like Europe and America, there was a period of history where that was really racist. And they painted over a lot of the statues. Or, you know, you can look at, I mean, one of my favourite statues is the Augustus Prima Porta, which is a statue of the Emperor Augustus. Again, I studied classics. And people have this idea of like classics being a very white field. And then when you actually look into it, it's not at all. It's just that sort of in the 18th and 19th centuries there was this whitewashing of classical culture. So if you look at Greek statues and statues like the Prima Porta, they were actually painted, and a lot of the time they were painted in you know, these kind of darker skin colors. You know, the Romans weren't white, guys. The Romans did not have this skin color, but they you know, this was not seen as aesthetically pleasing to the kind of 18th and 19th century audiences who reinvented classical culture in their own belief system. And so a lot of these statues that were brought to Europe and bought by like rich white men, the paint was cleaned off, and so you have these. I mean, the statues are still beautiful. I love the kind of like white marble statues. I think they're very, very aesthetically pleasing. I think they're very beautiful. However, I have that awareness that they were probably painted, and they were painted quite gaudy as well, which we see as less aesthetically pleasing, but you know, perhaps it was more realistic and representative of the person that the statue was based on. So Greek statues were not often idealized. Roman statues were often customized and painted to look like the person that they were meant to represent. So senators and people like this. So yeah, I think that's really interesting. And you can go as well and look at Roman sarcophagi. We think of sarcophagus as being particularly Egyptian, but of course Roman Egypt were kind of there was a lot of trade and like the diaspora, like the movement of people between those two countries, and the trade and things like this. So Romans for a long time had sarcophagi. They had similar practices to what we associate with Egypt, and so you can find Roman mummies wrapped, and they have these painted wooden cutouts, and they're often particularly brown. Yeah, I don't know, that is definitely something that I enjoy exploring from an academic point of view. And because I'm informed, because I have a degree, I have physical evidence. Like, I can go to a museum that's local to me and find one of these Roman sarcophagi with the wooden portraiture of the person that they're representing, and they were not white anyway, not like me white. And they have Mediterranean skin color, as you would expect from someone from the Mediterranean. So I don't know, I think it's very interesting when certain groups promote certain ideas, and they try to use classical culture as supporting evidence. And then I can say, actually, how do you explain this then? How do you actually, let me give you some more information, because I've done the research, because I have the degree, right? And like, I know my facts around this, I have the evidence. And you can't argue with the evidence. So you can't, like the Black Madonna statues, even if they painted them white, the evidence is still there, that you can scratch off the paint and see that it was black. Or you can if we flip and reverse that, these people who took statues like the Prima Porta statue of Augustus and scraped off the paint to make it white marble, there's a lot of technology now where they can use computers to kind of this isn't my specific field, so I have to rely on the evidence of these people, but they can look at the light waves and pick up tiny particles of paint, so they can see which bit was painted which color, and kind of recreate the original paintwork. So as much as people want to try and hide things and destroy evidence, scientific methods evolve, and we can rediscover the truth of what something was. I don't know, there's something to that. Maybe you're doing something like this as a degree. Again, you feel like you're empowering yourself, and you feel like you're empowering yourself with information, with practical, like hands-on practical experience, and real knowledge and evidence that cannot be argued with, right? This is facts we're talking about. So as much as people may want to create a very fiery emotional argument around these things, you're equally capable, with the Queen of Wands showing itself a couple of times, you're equally capable of matching that. You're equally capable of appealing to the fire inside people, but in a way where you can back up what you're saying, not in a way that you're just kind of like spitting flames. All right, I hope this was really helpful to you. It's a very empowering reading. I'm really, 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 really here for this, Taurus. This is cool. And again, like, don't mess with Venus. Like, again, as a Libra to a Taurus, don't mess with Venus energy. She's the more you annoy Venus, the more fiery she's going to become. And there's plenty of stories about Venus is not some pretty girl who's to be walked all over. Like, if you mess with the goddess Venus, you're gonna just look at, what was his name, hippo something. I want to say hippocampus, but I don't think that's right. Hippolytus. Just look at Venus and Hippolytus. You know, you don't want to mess with that lady. Okay, so let's have a look at what song wants to come through for you. Interlude by Madison B. Yeah, I do feel like you're in this kind of like space between interlude, break energy of like doing the reevaluation. Baby, you've been acting so crazy, like I ain't still your baby. Well, you're a damn fool. It's like your heart's in this constant ellipse. You can't decide. I don't got time for this. And I try to keep my cool and not go too crazy on you. You're sad and curve my emotions. I won't cry you another ocean. My mind was yours to lose. No lie, that's all I would do. I thought you'd do that for me too. Baby, I just want someone, but I don't want to just be someone to you. Yeah. Only you, I'm not for you. I want to be someone, but I don't want to be just someone to you. So yeah, you're taking your power back and I love it. So that's Madison Beer, Interlude. All right, Taurus, brilliant reading. It's an hour long, so I hope my other readings are a bit shorter because I have to go and tidy. Ugh, I have to go and do Queen of Pentacles stuff. I hate it. All right, I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye, friends.